want to know how to go from not even knowing your crush or just being casual acquaintances with your crush all the way to dating your crush, then this video is for you. I'm so super excited to be making this video for you guys, but this video is also going to have a little bit of more interesting structure to it. I decided to make it like spend a day with me video and let's talk about how to get your crush to like you. So for like each stage of my day, I'm going to be telling you guys a step to getting your crush to like you. A quick disclaimer before we get into this video, just because I'm including shots from the movies, it doesn't mean that like I'm taking my tips that I give you guys from these movies. The tips actually are coming from my real life experience. And now let's get into this video. Oh my god, my voice is going away. What the fuck? Oh yeah. So like the first thing that I want to do today is to drink some water and work out. Like while I'm doing my first step in my day, let's talk about your first step in getting your crush to like you. Okay, so for some of you guys, depending on like where you're starting in your situation, it's gonna be like you can skip a few steps, but if you're starting from zero, your first step is going to be to get this person to notice you, and here's how you're gonna do it. The first thing that you definitely should do if you can is to sit in front of them. Sitting in front of them is gonna make sure that you're always in their like eyesight level. At the same time, I know people tend to like talk to the person behind them, person in front of them, and the person next to them the most. If you cannot choose your seats in class, is to pretty much like get an extracurricular activity together with them. I would advise to do this like mostly only if you're interested in actually doing that activity. Okay you guys, but like yoga always feels so freaking good. So now it's time to get into like the muscle workout, and let's do it. Also, I'm realizing a lot of the shots look super weird because I don't want them to look weird, so I'm not gonna include as many of them. Another thing to get your crush to notice you is to take initiative on things, because we usually see the people who take initiative, like obviously they're naturally like bringing attention to themselves. So like if the teacher asks the question in class, you can answer it. If they ask who's gonna go to the printer office, you can volunteer yourself. I'm dead. Also, like look at this perfect curl, it looks so cute. Oh my god, they're kind of like there. Okay guys, now moving on to step number 2, while I'm gonna be doing my makeup. I feel like I look so weird, so I always start with like my eyeshadow primer, which is just like MAC paint pot, but I feel like today I'm gonna be using my makeup for quite a long time. First of all, once you kind of like get your crush to notice you, the next step is for you to like start talking to them, and I'm gonna explain to you guys exactly how you guys are gonna do it. Hi, this is the future. If you guys like the video so far, give it a thumbs up, because it really helps the channel. Like you literally have no idea until you become a YouTuber. And if you're liking me so far, then consider subscribing to the channel. A good place to start with this is either something that is currently happening in class that you guys are having together, or in the extracurricular activity. So basically something that has to do with the thing that you guys have in common. It can be like, oh hey, by the way, do you remember like what was for the homework today? I go in with like the lightest color at first. After that, usually like my daily makeup includes going in with like the medium brown and the darkest brown. Once you have this kind of like initial interaction, build it up over time. Find a reason to get their number, or you can add them on social media. Now this can be as easy as asking person like, oh by the way, what's your number? But if you guys are like too scared to do that, here are some tricks that I can tell you guys on how to do it. So the first hack to getting your crush's phone number is to actually take a picture on their phone and ask them to send it to you. I also talked about this in my TikTok, but basically like you can find a reason to take a picture. It can be like, oh my phone is dead, can I take a picture off the blackboard with your phone, and can you send that to me later on? And sometimes like a problem can be like them sending it with AirDrop, but you can kind of like make sure that they don't use AirDrop to send it by like turning off your Bluetooth, and before they send it, just being like, oh by the way, like can you send it with iMessage instead, because my Bluetooth has been like acting weird. Okay, the next thing that I like to do is to kind of like add a little bit of color to the front. Basically I always use like this shade, which looks like white but it's actually like pretty shimmery. Okay, here we go. The third way to get your crush's phone number is if you're sitting next to them in class, or if you're like sitting in front of them, or if you guys have a group project together and it's like the two of you kind of like separately, you can be like, hey, I really cannot find my phone. Like I checked all the pockets in my backpack. Can you please call it? And they're gonna call your phone, so make sure to actually like put it away somewhere that would not be like that obvious. Make it realistic, and then once you get home, you can use this as an excuse to like start texting them. You can be like, thank you so much for like calling my phone today. You're like really nice for doing that. Then they're gonna be like, no problem. And then you can be like, by the way, and say something. Basically, like from there on, you're gonna start a texting conversation. Okay guys, here's the makeup with the lashes. But basically our plan for today is to go to my school to get my diploma, because I had to get an apostille for it and it just arrived from the US now. And it's gonna be so freaking weird seeing the high school that I used to go to. After that, I want to go get a notebook, which I'm going to paint. And after that, I have a class at 2 p.m. and right now it is 12:30. Okay, excuse the mess, but like here's the outfit of the day. It's kind of like really basic, but I kind of like it. It's kind of like a vibe. So I just have like my custom Vans on, and then some like flared black jeans, a purple Puma shirt with a purple cap. Oh my god. Oh. Oh, that was not fun. And also like my cancel bag. But anyways, while I'm going to school to get my diploma, I'm gonna share you guys the strategy on like how pretty much to text your crush once you get into this texting phase. But first of all, I also want to mention that like if the person doesn't respond too well to your text at first, like dial it down a little bit, because that can be a sign that you're going on way too hard and you need to like step back a little. Dude, there are like people here, like they're actually studying again. This is insane. Usually the rule of thumb is like to mimic their texting style, so pretty much like text them just as much as they text. If they use a lot of emojis, you can also use a lot of emojis. And also like it's really good thing to keep in mind not to double text. There are like pictures of my exes on the wall because they were both in the same class. Now I'm gonna be listening to my anthropology lecture while cleaning my room up a little bit. Talk about the advantages of online classes. So texting hack number one is to never let the conversation get to the point where it's like stale and you guys don't even know what to say. Always make sure to like exit the conversation while it's still exciting. And when you're talking for the first time, you probably want to talk to this person for like hours and hours and hours. There have been so many times I've stayed up texting the people that I like until like 4 a.m. and it's been like a 3-hour conversation. It can be too much for some people, especially if you're like just getting to know the person, like just starting to talk to the person. There might be this thing that like you cover like almost everything that you can talk about. So a really great thing is to use this thing that I call like the Cinderella effect. I decided to do a debate and breakout rooms. Fun!
No, I just wanted to say bye and bye.
I've never had like a single like country identity, because basically like leaving the conversation while it's like still exciting, probably in like the first hour or 30 minutes of the conversation, so that way it leaves like more anticipation for the next conversation and more things to talk about later. And there are like two types of Cinderella effect. One Cinderella effect should be used like really rarely. It's basically like as soon as the conversation gets to like a really exciting point, you're kind of like, oh, I'm so sorry, I gotta go to sleep, can we talk tomorrow though, or something like that. And you're just like abruptly like cutting it at the most exciting moment, which is going to leave the person like waiting to continue the conversation so much. But this should not be done a lot of the times, because then you're gonna be known as that like flaky person, and it's gonna be like a natural thing that like, oh, as soon as like things get fun and exciting with this person, they always leave the conversation, so like what's the point in talking to them? And there's the second like Cinderella effect, which is basically just like not letting the conversation get to the stale point and leaving like at a reasonable moment. Okay guys, now I want to get that like Avengers notebook and I want to paint it. I want to paint like Loki and Sylvie on it. Dude, I'm doing way too many peace signs. If there's a person, it's gonna be so awkward. Guys, there were people in there. Another really great advice that I can give you guys when it comes to texting is to kind of like bring up the topics while you're texting that you can talk about later on. So if you guys have talked about like an episode of the TV show, before leaving the conversation, you can be like, oh, by the way, I know like the new season of the show is coming out this November. I would kill to live here. I'm super excited for it. I want to know your thoughts on it, but like, can we talk about that tomorrow? Because I gotta go now. That kind of like makes it more sure that you're gonna talk again. And at the same time, like when texting them again, you can latch onto the previous thing. That way it's gonna be like more seamless to text them. Dude, they literally have like everything Marvel except for freaking Loki. Oh my god. And at the same time, one really cool trick that you guys can use is to basically, again, this should not be used like often. If you want that person to like think about you, or like bring that texting conversation more into real life, you can say something like, oh, by the way, I just remembered like this crazy thing happened today that I definitely should tell you, but I need to go now, so I'm going to tell you tomorrow at school, or something like that. And that is pretty much going to like put this thing into their head. Oh my god, like what is this cool thing that they wanted to tell me? Okay, we're home and my nose is a little stuffed, so if I sound a little weird, that's why. So I ended up getting like a scented candle and also like some other scent thing. I actually want to like open this. So once you guys are kind of like at the friend stage, oh my god, it's time to
I'm meeting a friend. Do you want to come?
Ask them to hang out. Now you can be like pretty blunt with this. Hey, would you want to hang out sometime? Or hey, do you want to go out with me? Or if you guys are like scared to put yourself on spot too much, here are a few options that I have for you guys. Ooh, where's Loki? There are 3 ideas that I'm gonna give you guys in this video. So basically one of the ideas that I feel is kind of cool is basically to like approach them and be like, hey, do you want to go to blank on Wednesday? Because I was going to go with my friend, but she got sick and she canceled the last minute and I really want to go, so I was wondering if you would want to go with me. This kind of like doesn't make it as if like you want to ask them out precisely. At the same time, it's really good to use like a common interest that both of you guys have. Smell test. This actually smells like pretty nice. And then there's also like this thing. Oh my god. Oh, this one's stinky. Why does it smell like vinegar? If you're like extra scared, you can also use an event that is already happening. So for example, prom or a football game, if you want to, and if you're brave enough, you can just ask that person to go with you. Or if you're not brave enough, the other way around this is,
So Stefan, if you're new, then you don't know about the party tomorrow. It's a back to school thing at the falls.
Are you going?
Of course she is.
to basically ask them if they're going, and if they say yes, you can be like, oh, I hope to see you there, and you can maybe even add like, and hang out with you at that event. And afterwards, once you guys like hang out a few times here and there, you can look if they display some signs of liking you and just follow the videos based on these stages. This literally kind of feels like an internet course on something. And also thank you guys so much for 10,000 subscribers. It's literally so crazy to me. I wish I could like articulate it more, but I'm literally like so tired. I have midterms and everything, and I'm exhausted. But the shout out of the week goes to this person. Also, I haven't finished the painting, but if you guys are wondering, like, this is like the progress that I have on it so far. It's just like a color blocked sketch right now, but I feel like it's gonna look so cool like once I add the shadows and the blacks and the eyes and just everything like details. So yeah, thank you guys. I love you guys. I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye.